Hello everyone and welcome back. Today, I'm going to share some Minecraft stories with you. These are tales of both recent and long time past, but they all involve players and worlds which have been forgotten by history. At the heart of these stories is the Planet Minecraft forums, which I'll be referring to as PMC from now on. I'm sure that many of you already know about PMC, but for those who don't, PMC was a website created by a user called Cypress in 2010 as a place for people to share their projects. Basically, it was like the original Minecraft marketplace, before the official one even existed. For almost 15 years, PMC has been home to millions of skins, adventure maps, texture packs, mods, data packs, and literally everything else Minecraft related you can think of. And all of this was made by the community, for the community, as it was available for free. Over its 15-year history, millions of players have come and gone on the PMC forums, while leaving their own unique marks in some way. Whether it's a cool skin someone made when they were bored, or a texture pack they designed and wanted to share. Everyone made their own contributions, which could be accessed by the whole community. Some people made crappy maps when they were kids, and others created elaborate worlds that took them months or years to complete. Either way, everything that was posted on PMC was done so out of pure passion, as monetization was very limited, at least in the early days. Basically, the only way to monetize your creations was by putting ads on download links. Now that we know what PMC is, we can now delve into these stories. These are the tales of the greatest maps, legendary players, and much more. So sit back as we explore the lost history of Planet Minecraft. The first story takes place during the golden age of PMC. This was when the site had its greatest influence on Minecraft culture, and when people created the legendary maps which are now considered classics. Many of these map makers have been forgotten by history, but we're going to take a look at a few of them, and what they accomplished during their time on PMC. Let's begin with a user called Bigger, who joined the PMC forums on July of 2011. Bigger was a normal user on the site, like many others, and was someone who played through lots of maps that people uploaded to PMC. He was an active member of the community, and was overall a normal user. That was until December of that same year, when Bigger uploaded his first map to the site. This map would leave a mark on the Minecraft and gaming community forever. Bigger's map was called the Dropper, and no matter whether you're a new or old player, most of you have probably heard that name before. But for those who don't know, the Dropper is a map where you fall from a high platform through specially made courses, with your goal being to find the right spot so you don't die when you hit the ground. The Dropper was immortalized in Minecraft history during the early and mid 2010s, when the biggest YouTubers like Stampy and DanTDM made videos playing through it. Overall, the idea of the Dropper was very creative, and it was a fun game mode to play by yourself or with a group of friends. To put into perspective just how influential the Dropper was, he created an entire genre of its own, with thousands of spin-off maps in Minecraft alone. People also made versions of it for the Xbox, PlayStation, Pocket Edition, and everywhere else you could play Minecraft. And this was just in the Minecraft community. I haven't even mentioned the countless Dropper-inspired game modes that people made in other games like Roblox and even Fortnite. After only a short time, the Dropper became by far the most downloaded map in PMC history, and its genre has amassed hundreds of millions of views on YouTube. However, despite all of this, Bigger's name is still mostly unknown, but his contributions to Minecraft and gaming history have stood the test of time. Some of his other maps include the Dropper 2, as well as an Xbox 360 and Pocket Edition port of the original map. Other than that, Bigger has also had some success in other projects, such as his World of Illusions map, where he created optical illusions in Minecraft, but nothing else has ever topped his Dropper map, and it's still currently sitting at the top for most downloads on PMC, even after 12 years. As for what happened to Bigger, well, he stopped posting maps to PMC in May of 2016, and he hasn't been seen on the forums in over 5 years, so it's likely that he's moved on to different things in his life. Other than Bigger, the early years of PMC saw the creation of many other classic maps, such as the Temple of Notch, which was uploaded by a user called Disco_ in September of 2011. In this map, the player must give an offering to Notch, and he'll decide whether to reward the player with loot or to send them to their death. Although this map wasn't downloaded as much as the Dropper, it was still very influential in its own way, because the redstone that was required to build it was very ahead of its time, and the design of the temple is still iconic to this day. In fact, the temple itself is so iconic that many players have said they thought it was a real structure in Minecraft when they were younger, and spent many hours trying to find it in their own worlds. That's a feat that could only be accomplished during the golden age of PMC, when Minecraft maps could become so ingrained into the game's culture. Speaking of the golden age, one legendary map maker we have to talk about is Seth Bling. Seth Bling was active during the early years of PMC and made some of the greatest maps involving redstone and interactive minigames, such as a Minecraft-inspired remake of Super Smash Bros. And other fun maps like a competitive mob arena. However, his most famous creation was also the simplest when it came to its concept. In May of 2012, Seth Bling uploaded a map to PMC called Skygrid. Skygrid is a three-dimensional grid made of randomly generated blocks that goes on as far as the eye can see. The challenge is to survive as long as possible, and many YouTube series were made on this map, such as the one from Vicstar and Ali A, which popularized the map in 2014. If you've been playing Minecraft for long enough, you already know that Skygrid went on to become a staple game mode in many servers during the mid-2010s, and at one point it was almost as iconic as Skyblock, which shows how far-reaching its appeal was. However, since the late 2010s, it's definitely lost its popularity, and nowadays you won't find the game mode on most servers. But either way, it's still a map which changed Minecraft in a significant way and left a lasting impact. And as for Seth Bling, he stopped uploading maps to PMC in October of 2016, but he still occasionally posts videos on his YouTube channel. These were only a few examples of the great maps and map makers of early PMC. There are hundreds of other creations which stood the test of time, even to this day. Some examples are the Walls, Herobrine's Mansion, the original survival game maps, the GTA maps, and many others. In fact, you can still find most of these maps very easily on the site if you sort by most views or most downloads, as they're still the most downloaded maps even after a decade. As you can now tell, during this time, PMC was booming with creativity and innovation. Everyone and their grandparents were on the site during the golden age, and there were no signs of slowing down for many years. However, nothing lasts forever, and as you'll soon see, the most influential maps were almost all posted from 2010 to 2016, which is what I consider to be the golden age of PMC. This was also the time when anyone could make a map and it would go viral if it was good enough, by being featured in videos by YouTubers that would get millions of views. However, despite these iconic maps, you'll soon see that not all creations on PMC were great. There were in fact many bad maps. But there were also hidden gems if you looked hard enough. These hidden gems were made by unknown map makers, and these map makers will be the focus of our next story. Remember that absolutely anyone could upload their creations to PMC. That means that the quality wasn't the best in most cases. Just like how there's a lot of bad apps in the App Store, you'll find a lot of bad maps on PMC. But at the very least they were authentic, because map makers made their maps out of pure passion, as there was little money to be made from uploading them. Despite the various qualities of the maps, as I mentioned before, there were also many hidden gems if you searched well enough. You could find great redstone maps, parkour maps, adventure maps, recreations of games like Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, GTA, etc. Basically anything you could think of, you could find it on PMC, in various qualities of course. Players who have long stopped playing Minecraft have also left their marks on these forums. There were friendships on now dead servers that were listed on PMC, communities that no longer exist, and maps which are relics of old Minecraft. And everyone had their own story about why they wanted to upload content. Some wanted to make mods for the game, others wanted to share servers they made, and some simply wanted to talk about the game on the forums. But times change, and the golden age couldn't last forever. The decline of PMC began in 2016, and that was coincidentally the year when Bedrock Edition was released. Personally, I don't think these two events are very much related, but I do believe that PMC's decline happened because of Minecraft's general decline from 2016 to 2019. The consensus of the community is that those 3 years had some of the slowest and most boring updates, from 1.10 until 1.13. However, when people started playing Minecraft again in 2019, you'd also expect PMC to make a comeback. But something strange happened. PMC didn't gain the traction it once had. In fact, the most downloaded maps and texture packs were all still from 9 to 12 years ago, meaning that the newer maps and content didn't reach the heights the old ones did. So because of that, many new maps from 2016 onwards were lost to time, as they were shrouded in obscurity. That's why there's still a lot of underrated gems on PMC today, but finding them requires a good amount of searching. Now you might be wondering, what's the reason for PMC never gaining traction again? Well, I don't think there's a single reason, but many factors that added up. One factor was that people were now playing Bedrock Edition more often, so they didn't have a need for PMC, as it mostly offered content for Java Edition. And the thing about the Bedrock marketplace was that it had all of these things as well, skins, texture packs, maps, but the downside was that it costs real life money, and that's why a lot of Java players feel negatively towards the marketplace, as Microsoft charged players for things they could already get for free from places like PMC. But at the same time, the marketplace does let creators get paid more than just having ads on their download links on PMC. So there's arguments for both sides here, which we won't get into in this video. But anyway, One other factor to consider for PMC not being revived in 2019 was because MCYT, meaning Minecraft YouTube, changed drastically during the past few years, and the new big YouTubers were making less map playthroughs and instead focused on faster paced videos about SMPs, PvP and challenge videos. You know, the ones like Dream, Technoblade and the Mr. Beast videos. So people's maps on PMC never got the attention they had from YouTubers during the early years. There are countless maps and other content that has been uploaded since 2016 that has never seen the light of day other than a few hundred downloads because the interest just wasn't there anymore. As I said, there are many lost stories on this forum, some dating back to almost 15 years ago, because even during the golden age, most creations went under the radar for the majority of the public. There are countless maps which will never be seen outside of a few downloads, so I can't really discuss them here outside of my own experiences. I played through some unknown adventure maps from small PMC map makers about 6 months ago, and despite the maps being obscure and made by random players, a lot of them were very fun to play through. For example, a map maker by the name of Crumpet Juice made a trilogy of adventure maps based on the horror franchise Saw in 2012. In the Saw maps, you have to solve puzzles in each room and survive the trials. These maps were surprisingly fun to play through despite being made so long ago and having limitations on what blocks they could use. And as you can see by the comments, people genuinely loved the maps as well. There were many other obscure maps that I played through in those two videos, so I won't talk about all of them, but let's just say there were also some of questionable quality as well. And for the record, none of the maps that I played through were polished or perfect in any way, but there was clearly a lot of heart and soul put into them by the creators. When you play these maps, it's kind of like playing through a world that you made when you were younger. In a sense, these old maps are the memories and hard work of players that have been lost to time, and playing them is like opening the door to another person's mind and seeing how they express themselves through their map making. Despite what I said earlier about the decline of PMC, make no mistake that it's not a dead site. If you want to play through cool new maps or find nice texture packs, PMC is still the place to go, as you can always find great content on the site, and there are still tens of thousands of people who actively use it daily. Sure, there are some issues with the site, such as not knowing what version a map is on unless it's in the title and description. Otherwise, you simply have to guess by the day it was released. But all of that is very minor, and overall, the user interface is very good. As for its legacy, Planet Minecraft will most likely be remembered for its contributions during the early years of Minecraft. From its humble beginnings in 2010 to its growth into a community consisting of millions of players from around the world. All the creations that have ever been made there are permanently on the site, as a reminder of what once was. This means that you can still find almost 15-year-old maps and play them if the external download links haven't been broken. That's something that you can't do on most places on the modern internet. I don't want to talk about the future of PMC, as it could go a number of ways, and no one can tell for sure, but what is for sure is that despite all of its contributions to Minecraft over the years, PMC holds a lot of untold stories within its web pages, most of which will remain hidden forever.